Hello, I'm Sebastian. Welcome to 9 Trees podcast. Today, I will summarize and review the book. Tower of Basel by Adam LeBor investigates the Bank for International Settlements, a little-known institution headquartered in Switzerland that sits at the center of global central banking. Written with a journalist's eye for power, secrecy, and unintended consequences, the book traces how the BIS evolved from its early 20th century origins into a forum where central bankers coordinate policy, share intelligence, and shape the rules of modern finance. LeBor presents the BIS as both a technical hub and a political actor, operating through discrete meetings and specialized committees that rarely attract public scrutiny. The narrative moves through major turning points, including financial crises, wars, and the rise of deregulated global capital markets, to show how decisions made in Basel can ripple outward into currencies, credit, and everyday economic life. Without treating central banking as a dry subject, the book highlights the tension between democratic accountability and the need for confidential crisis management in a tightly interconnected financial system. I will give you key takeaways from this book. Firstly, origins, mandate, and the architecture of a central bankers club. A central theme is how the Bank for International Settlements emerged and why it still matters. The book describes the BIS as an institution built to solve specific international monetary problems and then repurposed as the world economy changed. LeBor explains how its Swiss location, legal status, and culture of discretion helped it become a trusted meeting place for central bankers, finance ministry veterans, and regulators. The BIS is portrayed as neither a normal commercial bank nor a typical international organization, but a hybrid that provides services to central banks while also hosting the networks that set many of the technical norms of global finance. This design creates unusual influence. The BIS can convene key decision-makers quickly, shape agendas through committees and research, and offer a venue for coordination beyond electoral politics. The topic also emphasizes the gap between what the public often imagines central banking to be and how it actually operates in practice, through relationships, shared assumptions, and incremental rulemaking. By mapping this architecture, the book helps readers understand why the BIS can act as a stabilizer during turmoil and also as a symbol of opaque power when transparency and accountability are demanded. Secondly, secrecy, immunity, and the politics of financial governance. LeBor explores how the BIS operates behind a veil of confidentiality and why that secrecy is both functional and controversial. The book highlights the institutional protections that allow it to work with unusual independence, including privileges and immunities that limit external oversight. This is presented as a double-edged arrangement. On one hand, confidential discussion can prevent panic, enable candid exchange of sensitive information, and allow swift coordination during crises. On the other hand, reduced visibility can weaken democratic control and make it difficult for citizens to understand whose interests are being served when policies affect employment, inflation, housing, and inequality. The book frames secrecy as a form of power in itself, shaping what is debated, who is included, and which ideas become orthodox. It also discusses how central bankers can become a transnational policy community, sharing similar training and assumptions, which can narrow the range of considered options. This topic encourages readers to see global financial governance not only as a set of technical tools, but as a political system with winners and losers, where the trade-off between discretion and accountability is constantly renegotiated. Thirdly, war, moral compromise, and the challenge of institutional continuity. Another major topic is how the BIS navigated periods of extreme geopolitical conflict and what that reveals about institutional priorities. LeBor examines how an organization created to support monetary stability can end up entangled in wartime realities, cross-border payments, and the pressures of working with regimes that later become morally condemned. The point is not simply historical scandal, but a broader lesson about the persistence of financial infrastructure even when politics collapses into violence. The book shows how continuity is often defended as necessary for post-war reconstruction and future stability. Yet that same continuity can look like complicity when viewed through ethical and legal lenses. This tension illuminates a recurring pattern in international finance. Institutions justify their survival by claiming neutrality and technical purpose, while their actions inevitably interact with power, sovereignty, and conflict. By tracing debates over whether the BIS should have been reformed, dismantled, or preserved, LeBor illustrates how financial organizations can outlast political regimes and carry forward habits of secrecy and elite negotiation. Readers come away with a sharper understanding of why legitimacy is fragile in global finance and why historical memory continues to shape public trust. Fourthly, from Bretton Woods to globalization, the BIS as rulemaker and referee, LeBor places the BIS within the evolution of the post-war monetary order and the later shift toward deregulated global capital flows. As exchange rate regimes changed and banking expanded across borders, the need for coordination moved from simple currency arrangements toward supervision, capital standards, and crisis containment. The book discusses how the BIS became a key arena for developing global banking rules through expert groups and standard-setting processes that influence national regulators. This role can look technocratic, but it has high-stakes consequences. Capital requirements affect how much banks can lend, which sectors receive credit, and how resilient the system is when markets turn. LeBor also emphasizes the limits of coordination. Even when central bankers agree on principles, national politics, banking lobbies, and competing economic models can produce compromises that leave vulnerabilities in place. The topic shows the BIS acting as a referee that tries to harmonize rules, yet often must rely on persuasion rather than enforcement. This helps explain why global finance can appear tightly governed and still produce recurring crises. The reader learns to connect Basel-based standards and quiet meetings to visible outcomes like credit booms, banking consolidation, and the global spread of financial risk. Lastly, crisis management, central bank swaps, and the hidden plumbing of money, a key contribution of the book is its focus on how financial crises are handled through mechanisms that most people never see. LeBor describes the BIS as a node in the system's plumbing, where liquidity support, emergency coordination, and information sharing can be organized quickly. This includes the practical tools central banks use to prevent banking systems from freezing, such as lending facilities, coordinated interventions, and cross-border arrangements that stabilize key markets. The topic emphasizes that modern crises spread through interconnected balance sheets, short-term funding, and confidence, which means that rapid and discrete action can be decisive. Yet the same emergency practices can deepen perceptions of unfairness if they appear to rescue financial institutions while ordinary households face austerity, unemployment, or foreclosures. LeBor's narrative encourages readers to ask what happens when crisis management becomes routine, and whether the capacity to backstop markets creates moral hazard or entrenches an elite consensus. By illuminating these backstage operations, the book gives readers a framework for understanding headlines about bailouts, liquidity injections, and coordination among central banks, and why decisions made in Basel can influence interest rates, credit availability, and economic stability worldwide. In conclusion, this book is best for readers who want to understand how global finance is actually governed. Curious general readers, students of economics and international relations, policy professionals, journalists, and anyone trying to make sense of recurring banking crises. It is also valuable for skeptical citizens who suspect that important economic choices are made far from public view and want a historically grounded account of how that system. The benefit to a reader's life is practical as well as civic. By clarifying what central banks do, how they coordinate, and why secrecy can be both protective and problematic, the book helps you interpret news about inflation, interest rates, banking regulation, and bailouts with more realism and less confusion. You gain a map of the institutions and incentives that shape the cost of borrowing, the stability of savings, and the resilience of economies. Compared with many books that focus narrowly on a single crisis or on abstract theory, Tower of Basel stands out for connecting history, personalities, and institutional design to today's financial order. It offers a distinctive lens on the BIS as a persistent hub of rulemaking and crisis response, making it a worthwhile purchase for readers who want an accessible yet serious account of how the world's monetary system is steered behind the scenes. If you would like to support Adam LeBor, you can buy the book through the Amazon link I've provided in the podcast description. After reading the book, please let me know what you think and share your thoughts.